So, we meet again, everyone, and not for the last time. And what's up, guys? My name is Jack Wright, also known as Jackpot Button Lewis on YouTube, and I would just like to start with a very belated Happy New Year to all of you and to all of my subscribers here on YouTube. And welcome to the start of my second year on my Coronavirus Lockdown Singalong 2020, now 2021 performances, would you believe? Yep, that's right, on this very day today at 8 o'clock on the, I'm trying to remember, what was the date actually today? It was exactly the 16th of April 2020, to be more specific, and over a year ago today was when I performed my very first, done my very first performance of this sing-along, would you believe? I have done this now for an entire year now, would you believe? That is absolutely incredible. And of course, I also would like to welcome you to celebrate, of course, an official year since I started my Coronavirus Lockdown Singalong 2020, now 2021. Welcome to my 1 year anniversary special performance. That's right, for any of you who did not know, if you have been following my Coronavirus Lockdown Sing-Along 2020, now 2021 performances recently and over the last year and or so, I would just like to say that the last few performances that I've done, they have been an absolute pleasure to do, and I've had so much fun doing them for all of you to get through this this dark and very twisted time that of this coronavirus 19 pandemic. I mean, we've been over the worst of it now, but there could be, it's far from over just yet. I mean, you know, because there's still a lot of spreaded cases of the virus currently across Europe with a third wave. And even though we've just come out of our second, or I think, is it our second now? I think it's our second lockdown. It's just been eased slightly just from a few weeks ago, and there could maybe be a surge of that coming into the summer, but hopefully, fingers crossed, that won't happen. I know half of the population of the United Kingdom has been vaccinated with 1 or 2 doses. I've still yet to be vaccinated, would you believe? Because currently there are a load of vaccines being adapted for under 30-year-olds. I'm currently 26 years old, and I'll be 27 on the 6th of June, which is my birthday. And I have got some big plans lined up, though, for the next few weeks or so. It's great to be back doing this, getting back on topic, because I don't want to haunt you with all the dark twist of this pandemic. Of course, the whole point why I decided to do this in the first place was just to make people happy and just forget about that the pandemic is going on, because honestly, this pandemic has been really tough on not just myself, but loads of my friends that I do know, and some of our neighbours in our street here in Ferryway, Littleport, England, of course here in Cambridgeshire, England, to be more specific. And I just wanted to, you know, do something. I mean, I can quickly tell you before we get on with tonight's, of course, 1 year anniversary performance, that the whole reason, or how I got the inspiration for doing this in the first place, was a load of people started doing things when Europe first went into lockdown, like the countries of Italy, Spain and Germany, and loads of people who may have been or were DJs, or also dance instructors that do fitness workouts. They started doing them from their balconies, or also on rooftops, and for everyone else around them to kind of join in, even though they had to stay inside. And I thought, if some people in, of course, those countries can do that, why can't I do the same with not just performing, but also songs from musicals? And that's exactly how it all came about. And also, like I was just going to say, that I got the idea initially to do this Coronavirus Lockdown Singalong 2020, now 2021 performances from when the Clap for the NHS started and Clap for the Carers, to show our respect for the incredibly and dedicated hard work that every person on the front line working for the NHS to stop people, of course, dying from this invisible and very deadly disease at the moment still. I mean, the amount of people that have passed from this virus is still quite shocking to even still hear just a year on. For any of you who just may have seen my recent Beacon of Remembrance service that I'd done, which I know was not exactly a performance. If you might have just come fresh from watching that, if you are just watching this right now, but I wanted to acknowledge that in some way, and for that to be a national thing now. Now it's actually going to be a proper Remembrance Day from for the next few years or so. To remember so many people who passed from this virus is it's quite a nice additional thing alongside Remembrance Day that's normally done in November, or also for other things that have just happened recently, like of course currently with the sudden death of course of His Royal Highness the Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, who just passed away quite recently. And I know that there's going to be a remembrance service for him at Windsor Castle later on this weekend, since it is Friday today. And but of course, it was a nice idea, and I just instantly thought of the Beacon of Remembrance, and it was very well received by everyone who came out. I know you didn't see that because my mum was filming at the time, and and unbelievably there was a little bit of a scare with my dad, because he accidentally breached the COVID regulations, and we were a little bit anxious that he might have actually caught the disease. So that's why he couldn't film it in. If my mum Samantha had to stand in his place. But he's okay, just to let you know. He had a test after unexpectedly breaking the COVID regulations. And he's okay, he's negative. He hasn't, even though he's been out of this house more times than I have. I've actually spent now an entire year in this house, would you believe? Which I know is not exactly healthy. But I've been so anxious about this virus, even though that it's been starting to slightly die down slightly, but with cases going up on a rise, which is to expected since we're coming out of this lockdown, and also having it slightly eased. It's to be expected, I understand, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, in the next few weeks, because also I've just found out that my mum Samantha and my sister Hannah are expected to get their second jab of the vaccine. And hopefully, fingers crossed, by like as Boris Johnson may have said over the last few weeks or so, all adults hopefully in the UK will be vaccinated by the end of July, which I know might seem quite a way away, but there are some great things in the pipeline though. As going back to my of course my Coronavirus Lockdown Singalong 2020 performances, I've got loads of ideas planned for more and more performances. This is only just my second year, and I've only done, I think, from what I remember, about I think, like, individually, I think I've done about 13 or 14 performances. I could be wrong, but I have also for every single performance that I have done throughout this sing-along during this coronavirus lockdown, I've singled one out, singled every individual performance out in a playlist, if you are watching this right now. And I really appreciate all of you watching this right now. I know it may not be for everyone, but I just want to try and share a bit of hope for all of you, and a bit of escapism, because I love performing, as you know me. I mean, I do it in my spare time, and I couldn't have been any more productive over the last year and a half, for doing this. I mean, it's been a great pastime, and I've had great ideas of theme performances, and I've been very well received. I mean, all my neighbours in our street, they've just absolutely they've grasped it and embraced it with so much love and gratitude and support as well. I mean, I could say loads of other words, but I don't want to bore you too much. But anyway, I think I have rambled on a little bit too much, but that's just a quick little update on, I've got some brilliant performances lined up. I can also give you a little teaser on the next performance that I'm planning to do. They are starting from next Friday. I was planning to do one tonight, but I've been very busy doing another video. That's why my hair is all done up, and it's and you might be wondering why I've got this long beard at the moment. But I won't be having this for too much long, folks. There's a reason why that I've been growing it for, and you'll be finding out over the next few weeks or so, and next week in particular, for, of course, the next performance, and my first performance on my second year of doing this Coronavirus Lockdown Singalong 2020, now 2021 performances. But to give you a little clue on the next performance that I'm planning to do, I'm just going to quickly show you a costume that I'm going to be wearing. And I know that I've got a few others that I might have just come in, but there is a little clue there. And if you might be seeing a few props that are on my wardrobe. Now, I wonder what that could be. What could that clue possibly be for the performance that I'm planning to do? Of course, next up in my Coronavirus Lockdown Singalong 2020, now 2021 performances. All I can say is, though, that if you did actually notice, that might be a clue, but to give you another clue, I know it's going to be a very special performance, since it's going to be another patron saint day of a particular country. There have been a few that have been going around quite recently. We've already just had St. Patrick's Day and St. David's Day for not just for the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, and also Wales. But there, you might know what, of course, the idea or also the theme for the next performance I've got planned. But you'll be finding out next week. But anyway, all that aside, I'm going to, of course, stop talking about the upcoming performances, and I want to focus on tonight's performance that I am going to share with you all. And like I said, since, of course, it has now been officially 1 year since I started this sing-along, since, of course, the 16th of April 2020, and I want to share you my very first performance that I done of this, even though I haven't uploaded it recently. I was planning to do that when I first started this, but I only started from my third performance, where I celebrated the great, of course, late now, sadly no longer with us, the great Sir Captain Tom Moore, or Captain Sir Tom Moore, to be more specific, who done an incredible bit of fundraising over a year ago, and for walking his garden, and he raised over £26 million for the NHS, and I have the utmost respect for any ex-serviceman of who even served for the British Army in World War II, and I did sing a rendition of the famous wartime song of We'll Meet Again by the amazing Dame Verylyn, who also sadly passed last year as well at 100 years old, the nation's sweetheart herself. It's so sad that both of them have sadly passed, but what they had done over, like, you know, many decades ago will never be forgotten, or will never be not fully acknowledged. I mean, you know, I have the utmost respect and you know, well, I can't think of any other words. I mean, you know, I have the utmost respect and commitment to what they done, and but no, as I said, they were two very, very special people. But that was the first performance in the playlist that I ever done. But the song that I decided to do for the very first time during the, I can't remember which week it was, but when the Clap for the NHS first began a few weeks into it, I decided to sing a song which because I really wanted to, I thought that a clap for the NHS wasn't enough. I honestly wanted to pick a song not just from a musical, but also it originated from the musical that I was going to sing, and of course I'm about to show you very, very shortly. But I wanted to have a song that has got a very deep and, of course, very optimistic and moving and emotional meaning behind it. And I chose a very, very poignant song, which was "You'll Never Walk Alone" from the musical of Carousel by Rodgers and Hammerstein. Now, most of you might know that, of course, this song is very popular for the English football team of Liverpool, because that's their anthem for at the moment, which is normally sung before the start of their games that they normally play in the Premier League. But since not many spectators are watching the games now currently in this year's Premier League, and most of the games had to be played behind closed doors for the moment, they haven't actually been playing well recently. Sorry to any of you who are Liverpool supporters. As you can tell, I am a Chelsea fan, as you can tell by the colours on my bedroom. But yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, I picked that song. And I didn't have long to rehearse on it. Honestly, it was quite tough to because it was totally unexpected. I didn't have much time to rehearse. I only had about like an hour and a half to go through the song, and I briefly knew the lyrics because I had sang the song previously before at a showcase concert for a theatre group I previously performed with before this pandemic happened, which was Campaign Amateur Theatre Group in Ely. And it is an iconic song from one of the old musicals or musical theatre, and I couldn't have thought of a more better song to just get through. You know, it's like an uplifting song, so you can feel hopeful for the future, and even though I didn't rehearse it as much before I actually went out. Before 1 minute before 8 o'clock when the Clap for the NHS started, and I honestly thought it wasn't going to be the best, but as soon as I started singing the song as raw and as real as possible, my voice started to open out, and then I was so chuffed in the end that I had the confidence to do it, because I was so nervous. It was the first time I stepped out of my house to perform, because I never performed on my doorstep before, and I was really, really nervous. But the way that the performance was done when I first sang it, I mean, it was truly special, and the feeling of relief as soon as I came back in, I almost cried. I was in complete disbelief and shock that I'd done it, and I nailed it. And I honestly thought it was going to be terrible, but luckily my voice actually opened out, and because I did warm it up as well, but not as much. But it came out so beautifully, even though that it wasn't exactly drowned out by the clapping, but I wanted to try and sing over it as, like, you know, a way just to be recognised, which it did eventually get recognised in some way. And for any of you that might be watching what you're about to see this performance, my dad didn't actually film outside, because he actually filmed it from the door of our house before we started going out a bit further out onto the pavement in our street, because we didn't know how loud it was going to be. But fortunately enough, I think it was the right thing to do, even though that there was a bit of times where my sister Hannah was talking over slightly. But I think you will be able to hear it. But for a first performance, I mean, I wasn't expecting it to go just as well, but no, honestly, I couldn't be any more chuffed for how it went for when I first done it, and if it wasn't for that very performance, it wouldn't be here today. I mean, you know, I've done so many performances since then, but now it's time for me to, of course, shut up now, and of course I want to celebrate once again 1 official year since I started my, once again, Coronavirus Lockdown Singalong 2020, now 2021 performances. with a very special rendition of the song You'll Never Walk Alone from the musical of Carousel. Here is my very first performance, once again, on my Coronavirus Lockdown Singalong 2020, now 2021, and that I have done, that I did over a year ago today on the 16th of April 2020. I hope you enjoyed the performance, and of course I will see you the next week on, of course, next Friday for the return on my, once again, for the start of my second year on my Coronavirus Lockdown Singalong 2020-2021 performances. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the performance.